Hello again, everybody. Welcome to the Backbone Podcast, where common sense still makes sense in a world that is sick and only getting sicker. And we have more proof and evidence here of the work of Satan and his demonic forces using the poor, feeble, out of touch, and just basically lost in reality. A man named Keith Olbermann, who resembles more of an old lesbian than a man. He has gone unhinged over the last couple of days on Twitter, and it just goes to show you that after a certain age, people should not be allowed to use certain things. I believe after the age of 70, old people must take a driving test every year to renew their license. Social media, if you're over 65, get out. You don't know how to use it. You're unhinged. And when you're an insignificant, irrelevant mental midget like Keith Olbermann, you don't understand that your words, whether written or said, especially in this very tumultuous world we live in today, that they can have irreparable harm on anybody those words are aimed at. What am I talking about? Well, former ESPN and MSNBC contributor Keith Olbermann posted an apology Tuesday after deleting a controversial social media post, which I have on the screen here, Monday, directed at CNN conservative commentator Scott Jennings, who's not really conservative, but he's conservative for CNN. Olbermann's original post were screenshot by town hall columnist Dustin Grage, whoever he is, showing Olbermann writing, and I quote, "You're next, motherfucker." Olbermann then followed up with, and I quote again, "But keep mugging for the camera." This was directed at Jennings nearly 2 weeks after the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Everything is revolved around this Charlie Kirk guy. Jennings, of course, later showed these screenshots of Olbermann's post and tagged FBI Director Kash Patel. So the FBI, I guess, has been notified of this. What are they going to do? Arrest this guy? It'd be hilarious if they did that at 5 a.m. to see him all disheveled. Olbermann's apology came Tuesday, suggesting that his message was, of course, in quotes, misinterpreted. Olbermann went on to say, and I quote, "I apologize without reservation to Scott Jennings. Yesterday, I wrote and immediately deleted 2 responses to him about Kimmel because they could be misrepresented as a threat or anything besides his career. I immediately replaced them with the ones specifying what I actually meant," Olbermann wrote. He goes on to say, "I oppose and condemn political violence and the threat of it." This is written by a lawyer. I can tell you that for sure. "All times are the wrong time to leave, even in an advertisement impression of it. But this time is especially wrong. I should have acknowledged the deletion and apologized yesterday. I'm sorry I delayed," end quote. Olbermann has faced tremendous backlash in recent days for his controversial posts regarding Kimmel. He slighted the late conservative influencer. Well, I forgot to mention Kirk, too. He slighted Kirk last week after it was announced that several TV affiliates, including those owned by Sinclair, would preempt Kimmel's show. Sinclair and the other affiliate, Netstar, something like that, they are refusing, even though Kimmel is set to return to air. I think it's tonight or tomorrow night. They are still refusing to broadcast his show, which is going to be a nice tug of war if you're into this stuff in media, because that is almost 25% of ABC's viewership across the country. Those 2 affiliates are what you would call the flyover state affiliates. So they're in like Indiana, Kentucky, Nebraska, those places. So is there a lot of advertisement money in there? No, not really. But that hurts when you lose 25% of the country. It's a big hurt. Let's see who blinks first. Olbermann went insane, though, today as he told Sinclair, the company, quote, to burn in hell. Olbermann wrote on X, alongside Charlie Kirk. He's gone insane. He maintained that nothing about Kimmel said in his comments about Kirk was untrue. Last week, Kimmel accused conservatives of reaching new lows and trying to pin a left-wing ideology on a 22-year-old suspect, Tyler Robinson, even though prosecutors reaffirmed those ties in his indictment. Kimmel, we know what Kimmel said, but I'll repeat it. We hit some new, and I quote, we hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it, end quote, said Kimmel. Kimmel's comments came a day after both FBI officials and the Utah governor, Spencer Cox, said that Robinson had and I quote, leftist ideology and was increasingly radicalized in recent years. I mean, the guy was dating a tranny furry. He had a boyfriend who dressed up like a furry and who thought he was a girl. That's not conservative right-wing shit. I mean, there are right-wingers they're freaks, dude. Especially these Mormons and these evangelical Protestants. They're a little crazy. You know, these Mormons, they have, what do they have? Don't they have those magic pants, magic underwear that don't let them get hard-ons or something? It's bizarre. But the lefts are out of control. It was also revealed that he had meaning Tyler Robinson, revealed that he had a romantic relationship with this biological boy transitioning into a female. Actually, he's just mentally disturbed. But Keith Olbermann didn't stop there. Now look at these tweets here. Olbermann to Scott Jennings, you're next, motherfucker, and keep it up. But check out these tweets because he's continued to go insane. Now this is on Keith Olbermann's own page. I went to his own page here. I'll just confirm it with you. This is his page. Right? You can see all the things here. And he just went insane today. He went crazy. He's talking about Elon Musk's father being accused of child abuse. He said, I apologized about this, but look what he says over here. He calls Marco Rubio a political prostitute. Ladies and gentlemen, Marco Rubio, political prostitute. Now listen, he might have a point there. Marco Rubio's adult. I mean, he's basically 2/3 of a retard. But I mean, you just said something controversial yesterday. You got in trouble for it. You might get in trouble for this. I mean, you won't get in FBI legal trouble, but I mean, you think you'd chill out a little bit, chillax. I mean, shit. Then he goes on against that guy, what's his name, Tom Holman, where he goes, Holman literally has the word hoe in his name. I mean, has he lost his mind? Keith, you're crazy, bro. What's going on over here? I mean, this is insane. And listen, he can do whatever. You're on social media. You have the First Amendment right to say things like this. You can say it. And I think it's funny. But the guy's like 70 years old. You know, he's got that white hair, and it's just he looks like an old butch lesbian. He looks like Rosie O'Donnell's. You know, somebody Rosie O'Donnell will be into. It just goes to show that liberal men are basically women with penises. That's what they are. They just can't. They are insane. The left is literally insane. Now, Scott Jennings, as we said, alerted the FBI about the social media post. I don't know what's going to happen with that. I mean, things could be taken out of context. I'm sure Olbermann has spoken to his lawyer. That statement, that apology statement, is total lawyer communication copy. And I don't think the FBI are going to waste their time with it. Because a guy like Keith Olbermann's not going to do anything. You could go up to him and smack him in the face. He's a pussy. He's not going to do anything. He's going to cry. She's probably going to call the police. It's not what Keith Olbermann says. I mean, it's not what Keith Olbermann might do. It's what Keith Olbermann says, and some nutjob who is in agreement with him might do. You know, some asshole reads what Keith Olbermann wrote, agrees with it, takes it to heart, and then when this guy Jennings is, I don't know if he's in New York or Washington, wherever he's located at, if he goes to out to dinner with his kids, some guy follows him in the restaurant and puts a cap in his skull. Olbermann, yeah, you can find him responsible for that. So you got to be careful. Freedom of speech goes only so far. But what we're seeing here now is that liberals, men and women, Democrat, liberal, progressives, are mentally disturbed. There just is no way around it. And you even have people like Bill Maher, who is not in any way near a conservative or, religious guy. I mean, he mocks religion. I mean, he's all set to go to hell, and he will repent when the day comes when he's starting to die. Trust me. But even he is saying that it's just too much. It's gotten this far, and to be honest, I think it's going to go even farther. I mean, these people are just nuts. And they have to be brought to heel. And the only way you do that, the only way you can do that is by bringing a more godly society, a more holy society in there. Forget about all these, and it's got to start with the schools. You must get rid of all these crazy women that are in these schools, that are running these schools. They have to go because they brought indoctrination into the schools. They're trying to destroy young heterosexual white males, white Christian males. They're trying to destroy them. And they're trying to incorporate the fact that little girls are smarter than little boys, and little boys are all in ADHD because they can't sit still. Give me an 8-year-old boy that can sit still. Most of these broads are in their 40s who don't have kids, who have never been married because they like to hoe around, and they're upset and they're angry, and they don't know anything about taking care of kids. And they use their bully pulpit as a teacher to bully these young children, especially young white males. And I can say this out of experience. Not that I've done this, obviously, but I've seen it. And it's wrong. And I've called it out, and I get into trouble for it. And one of these days, I'm going to be shown the door. But you know what? I don't care. We have to save these children. And these guys like Keith Olbermann are a product of this incredible liberal disease. And I never would have thought. I used to watch Keith Olbermann and what's that other knucklehead's name? Dan Patrick, I think it was, on ESPN. They used to do the sports show. They had a little banter back and forth. This guy never seemed to be a lunatic liberal. Never. Didn't show any of that at all. I mean, ESPN is unwatchable now. But then when Olbermann went to, the Communist Propaganda Network, MSNBC, he just lost his shit. And now, if you look at pictures of him, he's so uncomfortable to look at. He's very disturbing. I mean, I do believe that there's a derangement here, and it doesn't matter. It didn't start with Trump. This was with Bush. It started heavily with Bush, and then it was with anybody who disagreed with that moron Barack Obama, and then it just accentuated with Trump. And I don't know where we go from here. Because this is, oh boy, this is scary. The hippies, I was born after the hippie movement, thank God. But the hippies were like, they were weirdos. The boomers today, they're still weirdos. They're sick puppies. But when they were younger, they were weirdos, and they protested, and but they had dope and music. These people, they have prescription drugs and social media, and it's worse. It's bad. That's why they're all crazy. That's why they all think that there's something that they're not. And that's why it has to be fixed now. And we must in all seriousness, we have to bring back a holiness to this country. We have to make this a Christian country again. And I'm not talking about this banana bread, evangelical Protestant Baptist shit. We have to go back to the good old days. Protestantism is a weak religion. It's not even a religion. It's just basically it's the crib notes of Catholicism. And I know I'm ranting now. This should be about Keith Olbermann, but it all goes into what I'm trying to express to you is that liberals are mentally disturbed, and they need God more than anything. And if you disagree with them, they'll fucking kill you. And you have to watch your back with this, and you have to always have your head on a swivel, and you always have to be with people, like-minded people, because if you get outnumbered, they'll attack, and they'll fucking kill you. This is not a joke anymore. This is getting serious. I don't know if you can feel it, but it's out there, and it's deadly. How many more people have to die before we finally say enough's enough and bring this to heel? And it's not going to come to heel with prayer, with lighting a candle, having memorial services in football stadiums, and raising your hand and glory be to Jesus. That's not going to stop this. It's just not. You see how these liberals are behaving with that woman who was stabbed on the train, with this guy Kirk getting blown up in front of the whole country, the memorial services, the spectacle that was. This is all being mocked. These people don't have a heart. They don't have compassion. They don't have holiness. They don't have God in their lives. These are sick, godless people. And you don't reason with them. These people are in hell, and hell is a place where reason doesn't exist. All right. There's my 2 cents. Thank you again for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share. And be careful out there, my friends. As you can see, Satan is always busy. And he comes in different shapes and sizes and color. He doesn't care. As long as he gets his message across. And it's coming across much faster and much better than God's is. Be a man. Have a backbone. Because masculinity and common sense are worth standing up for. Remember, if it ends in an ism, it's a mental disorder. We'll see you later.